Have you ever thought about starting an artist blog? Sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? It's really not nearly as much work as you think to maintain a pleasantly consistent artist blog that can really help connect your website with the right kinds of people and algorithm. It's surprisingly easy to maintain a relatively active blog, and today I'm going to share with you 4 wonderful reasons why you should definitely be doing it. Hey friends, it's Caleigh Bird. Hopefully you caught my last video when I was telling you about the 11 different things that your artist website really needs to have. Well, if you remember number 9, I talked about having an artist blog, and while I was filming that, I kind of went off on a tangent on 2 reasons that turned into 4 reasons of why you should start a blog, and since it got a little long, I decided to make it its own video. So that's what this is today. So I'm gonna get that started, but if you notice, I don't really do an intro and an outro. I just kind of go right into it because, again, it was supposed to be part of last week's video. I hope you learned a lot from this one today, and if you didn't watch last one's, definitely make sure to check out the 11 things your artist website absolutely needs.
Always. It's a really great idea to have a blog. Now, I don't mean that you need to have a blog where you're like producing tutorials or teaching other people, or even something that you blog often. Honestly, if you have a blog and you only update something like once a month, once every 6 weeks, that's totally fine. It's totally fine to just have an every once in a while update like that. But even if you're just doing it every once in a while, that does 2 main things. For one, it lets the algorithm know that your website is an active place, because the thing is that what can happen with some artists is they can tend to put in a whole lot of time and effort, weeks, maybe even months, to set up a beautiful website, or pay somebody a lot of money to set up a beautiful website, and then they won't touch it. Maybe once every 6 months or once a year, they'll go put up a few new paintings, but other than that, it's just sitting there. And so what that tells Google or whoever, whatever other server is out there, let's just face it, usually Google, it tells them that this website is not really an active place. Nobody's really paying attention to it. At least the hosts so far are not paying attention to it. And if you're a beginning artist, then probably you're not getting a lot of visitors, so you're not necessarily showing a lot of action on that side. But if you're not having some kind of updates on your changes or new information or something, it just starts to kind of look stagnant, dead, uninteresting basically to an algorithm. You don't want that. So if you do something like putting up a simple, I'm not talking essays, paragraphs, tutorials, I'm not talking about like that, but a simple blog post, every month, every other month, something like that, at least the algorithm will know, okay, this is a website that is being updated and therefore is current and therefore is, relevant because there is activity here. The other benefit to having a blog, even a minimally posted on blog, is that visitors to your website will see that you are active and currently working as an artist. Because I can't tell you how many times I've gone onto an artist's website, stumbled upon one for whatever reason, however I've gotten on there, looked around and been like, wow, this is so cool, and noticed that there was beautiful art and then saw some kind of date that was like 2016, and it's like, oh, that's what the copyright date at the bottom of the page says, 2016. Is this the last time that you've been on this? Or like, that's the last time there's like a single press release or something is 2016 and then nothing else, no blog, no posting, no other date indication. So you're like, oh, is this person still painting? Are they still doing things? Are they still active? You know what I mean? You don't ever want your website just to kind of stop being tended to at all whatsoever, because not necessarily that people won't still enjoy your artwork, because they could still look at your artwork, and obviously there are plenty of artists who are not living, people still enjoy their artwork, so it's not people will say, oh, I hate their art now. But you will be less likely to maybe be approached by, like if I was a curator and I was looking for artists to be in my art show, and I look at your website and the last thing that you've posted is from 5 years ago that I can tell any kind of date from, I'm probably going to be less likely to reach out from you than from someone that is like, okay, at least they've posted something in the last like 3 months that I can tell a date from. You know what I mean? It's just psychologically, it just helps visitors know that you're fresh. And I mean, those are like kind of 2 main reasons, but honestly, the third one is that it gives people an indication, i.e. visitors or potential clients or potential art showing opportunities. It gives all of these people an indication that you're actively doing stuff as an artist. You're doing cool things, and your blog posts, they don't need to be super intensive, long writings or anything. In fact, if you're an artist, your community is there to see visual art. So actually a lot of pictures, like progress shots, or if you've been on an interesting vacation, like when I go on vacation, I like to do little paintings of the landscapes and take photos of my paintings in front of that landscape, like those kind of things. People love to see that. You don't have to, write a whole lot of things. You don't have to be rewriting an artist statement every few weeks or writing some kind of deep moving thing. By all means, if you do feel like writing more, or you do feel like writing something deep and moving, definitely do. But I'm saying this because I know a lot of visual artists are a little bit less pen heavy. Also, if you do something like have some artwork showing in an art gallery, or decide to vend at a holiday art market, or wind up getting in your local paper or something, you can post those kinds of things on the blog. And again, when people look at your art page, it gives them a way to kind of get to know you. And people don't really tend to buy art from complete and utter strangers that they can't figure out anything about. People tend to follow and purchase and support and patronize artists way more if they know about them personally or feel some kind of personal connection. So again, I've said this before for lots of other videos, if you can show some sort of personal thing about you, i.e. this is my blog and I'm writing about these exciting things that I'm doing, then you're going to be way more likely to interest folks that stumble upon or that come to your website by having these personal things about you. And last but not least, having a blog, honestly, it's a really nice way to keep a record of yourself as an artist. I know we have social media and that kind of thing, but blogging, there's something a little bit more intimate and personal and a little bit less scary about it, because for one, people aren't going to see it as much unless they're already kind of a fan of yours. Like, you don't really tend to go to artists' websites and look at their blog posts unless you already kind of like their art, so it can be a little bit of a friendlier space than social media. And also too, it's really nice literally just for yourself as an artist. I'm not gonna lie, every once in a while I'll scroll back through some of my blogs and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I was working on that, or oh, that was such a great adventure, I'm so glad I did that painting, or whatever it was. Or sometimes it'll be an art show if I, go to the Salvador Dali Museum or do something cool like that, make a blog post about some artistic adventure. It's really nice. People love to see it, the algorithm loves to see it, and personally, later on, you're gonna love to see it too.